Hello and welcome back. Today, another tip from a friend of the channel, Mike. Mr. Thrive and Survive. And boy, is he talking a load of balls. So big thanks for that, Mike, and massive thanks as well to all my patrons. With massive thanks to all my patrons, including new patrons Nicola Redmond, AZ Atheist, Grumpy Old Man, Hugh Jars, Larry XK, Yuha Escalinen, Purple Rhymes with Orange, Tim Nicholas and Roy C, and my latest patrons, the Key Weasel and Lucas Hoy. Thank you all so very much. So after all the kerfuffle about the Black Swan, what has Mr. Thrive and Survive come up with? He's come up with a right load of balls that he believes is a lunar black swan, and it's going to destroy NASA. We'll see about that. Roll VT.
Hello everyone, this is Mr. Thrive and Survive, April 6, 2020. I am very excited to bring this to you. Many of you have probably seen this if you have subscribed to Mike Ball's channel.
So Mike Balls is talking balls as well then, Rich?
Mike Ball is a good friend of mine. We do observations together because the other side is highly upset already with this, and that's a good sign, isn't it?
Not so much highly upset, Rich, as highly amused at your stupidity.
Isn't it amazing how we are the ones actually doing the science? We're the ones doing the observation.
I've done science, I've done cheese experiments, and just observing something and making crap up is not science.
And yet we're the ones told that we are anti-science, we're ignorant, we don't know anything.
Well, be my guest. Show us all how you're not ignorant.
And just listen to just 3 of the things that are wrong with the heliocentric model that can be shown just by this one observation.
Oh good, 3 things. And let's see if we can debunk them at the end.
Now to set this up, as Mike says here in the title, 1 ball, 1 light source. It's the same light source for both the moon and anything else, and the observations that we see should match 100% what we see with the moon, and any large ball we see on the Earth should match.
Can you see where this is going? Can you?
This right here is a Doppler radar unit, and I have a much better photograph of this that I need to dig out and show you guys that will show one of the things that absolutely proves that the light of the moon is its own light. It is not reflected light.
Okay, so you are going to now prove that the moon shines on its own.
And we're going to see that. And that's not pointed out directly in this video, but Mike, I think, has introduced what I call the Lunar Black Swan, or the moon's Black Swan event.
And what I like to call a feeble lack of understanding of basic geometry.
And there's the swan poking a hole in the NASA model of what we should see. So
I don't know why you flirts are so scared of NASA. You know, NASA only began in 1958. Do you think nobody thought the moon was a sphere before then?
This is the Doppler radar that he took. We actually stood right next to this. This is what we were going to use in one of our actual to scale, 1/92 millionth scale of the sun and moon and the angles. But let me pause it right there. There you see, there's the moon.
Careful, you don't want to hit it with your pointer.
And the first thing I noticed, which according to Mike is not the biggest deal, is that the angles don't match, and the other side freaked out and said, "Yeah, nice try, Mike."
Yeah, nice try, Mike.
What you did was you tilted the camera so that the angles didn't match, as you can see here, and he will blow it up. They absolutely do not match.
Believe me, they do match. If you have 1 light source and 2 spheres, they're going to be lit exactly the same, 50% of the sphere.
If there's any tilt whatsoever, it's actually tilted towards the ball side of the equation here. But that, again, it doesn't matter.
You're right, Rich. It doesn't matter. All that matters is the angle that you're looking at the sphere.
It doesn't matter because we're going to go out there and we're going to film ourselves filming this, and he's going to have it on a tripod, so there is going to be no tilting, and you will know 100% that what you see on the camera lens is actually what we recorded.
Well, I'm quite happy with the images that you got. There's nothing wrong with them.
Again, these two should match. Even this right here should tell you, unless you're on a very small device looking at this, they absolutely do not match.
I don't know what you mean, they don't match. They're not going to look the same because you're looking at them from different angles.
And let me just run it through a little bit here, and then we're going to look at the differences. So there's the moon during the day. All right, taking the exact same time. You can see the angles are definitely different.
Are you sure you don't want to just take this video down, Rich?
And what Mike likes to point out is the amount of the ball that's covered is different.
No, 50% of each sphere is lit. You're just, as I said, looking from different angles. It's not difficult.
I would have never actually even thought about that, but that's true.
You wouldn't have even thought about it. I thought that was the point of your observation.
And then you have people, well, if you're on the right angle, it would be the same. I don't think so, but
you'll go with this crap anyway.
look at the angle here. Look at the angle here. But here's something I want to point out. Let me get to it here. So what he's done is he's applied that angle over here.
Amazing.
Not quite a match. And again,
Simple geometry baffles you.
yes, we don't have the necessary controls yet to prove this, but we will, folks.
The only thing you need to do is walk over towards that radar sphere so that when you look up in the sky, it appears near the moon, and you will find that it's lit up exactly the same.
And this is going to absolutely, as he says here, nonsense. It's going to absolutely knock out the heliocentric, it's lit up by the sun model. It's close.
It's not close. If you understood simple geometry and stood in the right place, you'll find it's exact.
It's close to being what the sun would be lighting up, but not quite. No cigar. But here's what I want to point out. A third problem. You've got the angle, you've got the amount of the ball that's covered, and then here is the ultimate, no doubt about it, in-your-face proof
That you shouldn't be allowed near teaspoons.
that the moon is self-illuminated. It is not reflecting sunlight, and it is not a ball. And how can we tell that? Very simply, look at the left side here. Do you see the hot spot?
Yep, the specular highlight.
And as you go away from the hot spot, it tapers off. Here's a very good taper right here. The red inner circle. Now, I know this isn't perfect because I'm not high enough on the ball at this time.
No, I accept there's a specular highlight.
The brightest spot in the red, and again, this could be moved up a little bit. My artwork can't go 3D, not with my skill. And then you have this, which isn't quite as light. And then you have the first blue line, and that demarks where you really start to get a difference. Can you see the difference between this blue, these two blue lines and the blue and the orange line here? Significant difference.
You don't need to labour the point. It's a specular highlight, yes.
So this is what you see everywhere when you have a 3D light source or a ball that has reflected light.
You do realise that everything you see is reflected light.
Whereas the moon, you don't have that whatsoever. Now I'm adding this in post-production. I really want to ask the question from people on the other side. What is it you don't get about this observation?
Nothing. What I don't get is the pathetic conclusions you've drawn from it.
Always, there is no exception. If you have a ball that is reflecting light from a light source, you always get this diminished brightness as you get away from the center of where the light source is.
Are you sure about that, me old China?
We do not have that with the moon at all. None of it. All around the edges of the moon, it should be getting darker and darker. We don't get that.
No, I guess we don't.
How can you explain that? How can you hold on to NASA telling you that it is a ball that is reflecting sunlight when it goes against 100% of the observations we have of any object whatsoever?
Well, in a minute, I'll do better than explain it. I'll demonstrate it.
That is a 3D ball reflecting light. I'd really like to hear that answer.
Well, pull up your big boy's pants and I'll show you.
So let's take a look at it side by side. Where is the hot spot? Where does it taper off? So this is really the Black Swan event of the moon. It really is.
Okay, Rich, now is time for my sciencey demonstration thing. Okay, Mr. Thrive and Survive, we got one light source, a bloody great ball of gas 93 million miles away. And on top of a pole, we got balanced a tennis ball. I think it's a pretty close match for the phase of the moon that you were showing. If anything, even less of it is lit. And also, on the floor, at a different angle, we got another tennis ball. The shading on that is totally different, purely because of the angle we're looking at it. So that's about, I don't know, about a quarter lit. That is at least a half, getting on for 3/4 lit. That's all it is, simple geometry. Well, I think that just about wraps it up for your Lunar Black Swan, doesn't it, Rich? You can see the two balls are lit up totally differently, but each one is 50% lit. So the only other thing to disabuse you of is your specular highlight crap. As for your rubbish about the way a sphere is lit, I know this rock isn't a perfect sphere, but it's very curvy. There's no highlight because of the material. If that was made of shiny metal or plastic, then yes, you would get a specular highlight. But it's rock, and the moon is dust and rock. It doesn't reflect like that.
If you have a ball that is reflecting light from a light source, you always get this diminished brightness as you get away from the center of where the light source is. Always, there is no exception. Always, there is no exception. Always, there is no exception.
Of course, there are objects that give specular highlights. That'll be those with more reflective and shiny surfaces. You complete and utter twonk.
It is the black swan of the moon.
It really isn't. I think that NASA and the spherical moon are quite safe.
Praise God for all the things you reveal to us, Lord.
Yes, thank you, Lord, for revealing that Mr. Thrive and Survive would probably injure himself eating marshmallows. Until next time, stay sensible.
Shut up and sit down.